We talked about who we're going to cut, re-sign. Now let's talk about what are some of the team's needs. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, in today's video, we're going to talk about what the team needs are for this offseason. Now, this isn't necessarily what the team's needs are when it comes to just free agency. What are the team's needs when it comes to the draft? I'm talking, what are the team's needs all around? What do they need to address to, I guess, solidify being a consistent playoff contender? So yeah, before we jump into that though, you know I have to shout out my guys at patchvibes.com. Get yourself a patch, get yourself an awesome pin, get yourself one of these patches. Also, don't forget they have really cool t-shirts. Go over there, use the promo code DDW. You get yourself 20% off. But let's jump into this with the draft coming, draft's not till April, Doug. What are you talking about? With free agency coming up. March 17th is the start of free agency. Obviously, they get that little tampering period where essentially it's like, I think the 3 days before free agency starts on Tuesday. I think they get from like Saturday to Tuesday to tamper. Essentially, you get to make agreements and you get to say like, oh, in principle, we agree, yada, yada, blah, 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 yada, yada. With that being said, we're going to be talking about what are some of the needs that the Dolphins need to fill in. Now, I don't have them. I have them listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have six team needs, but they're not in a specific order of most important to least important. These are just all, in my mind, needs that need to be addressed to have this team be a little bit more consistent. Also, comment of the day is going to be intertwined with the sixth one. So when you guys asked me a very good one on the sixth one, I was like, that should also incorporate comment of the day. But let's jump into this. I'm rambling on too much. I do this in the beginning. Some people are like, 3 minutes in, you still haven't talked about it. Well, I apologize. I rambled too much. So let's jump into this. The 2021 offseason needs. Number one for me, wide receiver. But we have Preston Williams, we have Devontae Parker, we have Bowden Jr., we have Malcolm Perry, we're bringing back Allen Hurns, we have Albert Wilson. Why do you think wide receiver? Wide receiver because of a few things, obviously, I'm going to tell you. One, health. Preston Williams has not been healthy since he's been in the NFL. Devontae Parker had one good healthy season. He had over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Fantastic. Loved it. I said to him this year, prove me wrong, continue to success. He didn't. He got banged up, missed a few games. And it hurt the team. Bowden Jr., fantastic. I think the more he's with this team, the more he has a full off season. He's going to be a fantastic addition, and he's going to be Tua's go-to guy. I'd like to see them keep Albert Wilson. We saw what he could do against the Raiders, against the Bears. The man is just a playmaker on his own, but is the hip 100%? Allen Hurns, are they going to keep him or cut him? I know for a fact if they cut him, they eat $500,000. Yes. I was like, is that the right amount of money? Yes. So I could see them keeping Allen Hurns. So, yes, we still have wide receivers. We don't know. I'm going to give you a stat, but this is a stat from last year. We don't know how Albert Wilson and Allen Hurns would affect this stat. But also, last season, the Dolphins could not get any separation from their corners. They were very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. There were some games where the wide receivers were playing good. There's I think 2 or 3 games where Devontae Parker had 100 yards receiving. There was some games here and there. The Chiefs games, the Seattle game, the Cardinals game. Pick and choosing. Buffalo game, first Buffalo game, not second Buffalo game. There was games where the wide receivers would go off. Tua would have a 300-yard game. Fitz would have a 300-yard game. Tua would have over 200 yards. Fitz, but then all of a sudden there was games where Tua would barely have any passing yards. Fitz would be, the second half of the Jets game, the second half of the Jaguars game, the Raiders game. There was games where all of a sudden these wide receivers would start disappearing. Jakeem Grant, I don't know. Me personally, I'm not keeping Jakeem Grant. He's, I liked him. I liked when they gave him his contract extension. I was like, he shows promise. That Patriots Monday night game with Jay Cutler. You were like, wow, look at him making these catches. Look at him doing these awesome things. With, I think it was the Raiders game, and in 2018, showed signs, but then he consistently getting injured. He's a small body, small framed guy, consistently getting injured, being inconsistent with his hands. So I don't, but also separation. The Miami Dolphins last season are dead last when it came to separation. 2.4 yards average separation between them and the corner. Dead last. Here's the bottom 5 in the NFL when it came to that. Miami Dolphins dead last, 2.4. New York Giants, second to last, 2.57. Tennessee Titans, third to last, 2.62 yards separation. Los Angeles Chargers, 2.65. Cincinnati Bengals, 2.7. Those are the bottom 5. And the top 5 is Green Bay with 3.5 yards separation, Kansas City 3.52 yards, Arizona Cardinals 3.4, Buffalo 3.4, and the Seattle Seahawks 3.3 yards separation. You see the drastic. It's literally like a whole yard and yard point 1 separation between the top receivers and the bottom. So that being said, we need to add some more talent to the wide receiver core. Am I saying complete overhaul? No. Devontae Parker's not going anywhere. Preston Williams isn't going anywhere. I think Grant's going to be gone. I'd like to see them give Albert Wilson, the offseason to see if he's 100% with that hip. Give him, Alan Hearns isn't going anywhere. Lynn Bowden Jr., Malcolm Perry. But add like 1 or 2 more, right? Add another. We need a slot. So add like, I would say like 3. Doug, that's a lot of wide receivers. Yes. You'll be surprised how many wide receivers they're going to add for training camp. I'd add about 3 or 4. Draft free agency? I don't know, but I'd add about 3 or 4. They need help there. Side note, I want to thank Smart Guy for that chart. I want to make sure I did put the app, but I want to make sure I thank him because if you guys haven't followed him yet, he gives very, very good stats, facts to back up a lot of things. The number 2 thing that the Dolphins are going to add or need to add, interior offensive linemen. I think Austin Jackson did a fine job. Was it fantastic? Was it great? Was it the best left tackle rookie season of all time? No, but I think he did solid. I think he did good. Robert Hunt on the other side, I think that was good. I think that was solid. Not saying that I'm not going to try to draft one, but I'm saying I like that. But interior really bothered me, right? And it sucked because the interior was mostly vets with Jesse Davis, Ted Karras, and Eric Flowers. Struggled. A lot of the pressure was up the middle. We couldn't run the ball up the middle. And even if we tried to run the ball to the outside, these type of guards could not pull. Even I love Solomon Kinley. He's a big man. He's a beast of a man, but he's not fast enough to get to the outside for pull plays when you want to run the ball to the outside. So we need to address the interior linemen. Are they bringing back Ted Karras? I don't think so. I think he's going to be asking for probably about $10 million a year. I don't know if they're going to give that. I'd like them to get Humphreys, draft him in the draft. Again, that's something I'll talk about when the draft time comes around after free agency. There's a bunch of good interior offensive linemen that I'm looking at in the draft. Even in free agency, there's some guys that the Dolphins can add. So definitely interior offensive linemen. And like I said, I'll talk about the draft a little bit more. Sewell, maybe? Maybe Sewell at 3? I don't know, but I'll let you guys speculate. That's number 2. Number 3, I love my trenches, pass rusher / D end, right? Set the edge. We need a guy who's going to set the edge. Don't let these outside runs continuously burn us. Set the edge. We need those outside guys. So that's what I think the Dolphins desperately, and being that I played defensive end watching it, I'm like, Also, super inconsistent on getting pressure on the quarterback. Super inconsistent. There are games where, Agba would go off. He had 9 sacks this season. Right behind him is Jerome Baker, the middle linebacker. So we need more consistency on that D end. We need more consistent pressure because you give quarterbacks enough time. A corner can only cover wide receiver for so long. And again, biggest thing is setting the edge, stopping the run on setting the edge. So for me, adding a legit pass rusher, adding a legit defensive end, whether it's drafting one at 18 or looking at somebody in free agency, you have Ngakoue, but how much is he going to ask for? There's J.J. Watt out there, but like I said, supposedly Von Miller is an option out there. We'll see, but I want to get a consistent pass rush. I'm tired of only having good pass rushes against, I guess you could say, inferior quarterback play. So I want a consistent pass rush. The next thing, speaking of Jerome Baker, middle linebacker. I think the Dolphins are pretty good at outside linebacker. Agba is considered one of their outside linebackers. Ginkle is another guy who really came into his all Kyle Van Noy, considered an outside linebacker for this team. Middle linebacker, you had Landon Roberts, who had that serious injury. We don't know how he's going to be coming back. You have Gruger Hill, Jerome Baker. Again, he was very good at getting pressure on the quarterback, but other than that, he kind of disappeared in certain aspects, and we need a guy. I feel about the middle linebacker area as the same way I feel about the tight end area. I want a guy who could do it all. I want a guy who can stop the run, be a thumper, and knock a running back on his butt if he hits the hole that the middle linebacker standing there waiting for him. I also want a middle linebacker that could drop back into coverage, can help there. I want a do-it-all linebacker. And right now I don't see us consistently having a do-it-all linebacker. I think Jerome Baker isn't a very good run-stopping linebacker. I think he's a good blitzing coverage linebacker, but I don't think he's a good run stopper. Same thing with Gruger Hill. And like I said, Landon Roberts is coming off of a serious injury. So to me, middle linebacker is another one. Running back, it's my number 5. I would just like to add a stud running back. I'd like to add a running back that, regardless of the type of help he's getting up front, he's still going to make something out of nothing. Don't get me wrong. Washington, Gaskin, Ahmed, these guys did really well. Even Patrick Laird had some good snaps and good runs there. But I want to add that stud middle linebacker. I'm still stuck on middle linebacker. I want to add that stud running back. Is in the draft, is in free agency. Both. I'd honestly do both. I'd draft one and I would sign one. Yeah, the running backs did all right. It didn't help how bad the interior of the offensive line was last year on run blocking. But something was missing, and watching it back, you would notice that sometimes they'd hit the wrong holes, sometimes they wouldn't follow their blocker. There was some things here and there that I'd like to add a running back. That's another need of mine. And the last need, this also goes into comment of the day. T-Zone ABK said, comment of the day, this offseason, one of our positions of need to improve is the defensive tackle position. How do you think we should address this in the draft, free agency, or just simply re-sign Devon Gotchow? And that's another thing. Me and TD talked about it a little bit. A big nose tackle, a Vince Wilfork type. When we're in the 3-4 set, you kind of have Zeiler, you have Raekwon Davis, you have Christian Wilkins kind of being those outside guys in a 3-4 set. We need that big man in the middle. We need that nose tackle that's going to eat up 2 blockers to give the outside guys some pressure and to let the linebackers get to where the running back is, right? And it's a whole schematic type thing. So I'm looking for that big man in the middle. I'm looking for that nose tackle. Now, Devon Gotchow isn't considered that. Devon Gotchow's same thing as Zeiler, my brain shutting off, Davis and Wilkins. So I'm looking for that big guy. I'm looking for that Vince Wilfork guy. I'm looking for that big man in the middle. So that's another addition that I would add, big nose tackle. Now, I have 6 on here. They could address these in, we have free agency in the draft. We have money and we have a ton of draft picks. They can address all of these things. Wide receiver, interior offensive lineman, pass rush, middle linebacker, running back, and nose tackle. Those are what's important to me, right? They address those 6. After that, they could do whatever they want. They can add another corner for all I care. We all know how Brian Flores loves his corners. Doug, we don't need another corner. Well, that's what I'm saying. If they address these 6 spots, add like 1 or 2 wide receivers, add, a guard and a center, add, a good stud defensive end / pass rush, add a good middle linebacker, add 2 running backs, add a big nose tackle. Do whatever you want after that. Miami, I'm good. You made my day, made me happy. I don't give a crap what you do. But that's the video. Those are my needs. What are some of your needs? Now, if you agree with some of my needs, give me some names that you might be looking at, right? Now, I know a lot of people, when it comes to wide receivers, want the big, sexy ones, want Robinson, Godwin. Those are going to be expensive. They're going to be about $15 million a year. I'll talk about that when I go to targets that the Miami Dolphins should go after. Probably be out next week. But give me, especially interior offensive linemen. What are some of the guys I'm looking at Humphreys at center. What are some of the guys you're looking at when it comes to the draft? Be sure to comment below. Like I said, I already threw a comment of the day at number 6 with the nose tackle. But be sure to comment below. See, he put comment of the day. That's normally what I type in to find you guys' comments who want to be part of the comment of the day. So if you want to be part of comment below. Say comment of the day. But that's the video. I'm going to have a Mythbusters video either probably Sunday or Monday. This is an interesting one. It's a myth, and the person that the myth is about kind of debunked it himself. So it's going to be a very interesting one. Don't want to give too much away, but be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. Also, check out Miami Sports Music. Me, TD are part of that. It's a big community that's being built. If you know who Solo D is, he does the music before the game, so be sure to check it out on their website and on their YouTube channel, Miami Sports Music. Other than that, guys, I will see you in the next video, but like usual, stay classy. Fins up.